Greetings, everybody. Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to the very first episode of Banished, which originally aired live on Twitch. I am not a Banished expert. If you're wondering what this game is about, just the about command will work for you. We are going to kick off a brand new settlement here. Let's call this Yodatropolis. I'm not gonna, as you can see, I'm gonna do a random seed. We'll go valleys, fair climate, disasters, and medium. All right, Yodatropolis. Speaking of Yodatropolis, here's the little guy himself. All right, let's start. Now, again, I am no expert, but I will try to explain a lot of the core concepts of the game as best as I can using the limited knowledge that I have. So you start off as a just a little group of settlers here. Now let me get some basic information up on the screen. I like to keep the event log and some of the other information here up at all times. This is just a personal preference. And here you have just your general information about your resources, and I know it's teeny and the UI is going to be tough to read, but this is essentially wood, stone, metal, you know, firewood, etc. And then this is the professions, who's working what jobs, and then this is an event log, which is like people getting born, people dying, that kind of thing. Yep. So we have a stockpile that is 2/3 full of stuff, and a storage barn with some potatoes, tools, and clothing. And that's all we really start with. My random map seed is unbelievably nice. I have an enormous amount of flat area here, so totally hyped about that. As you saw, I hit the random button quite a lot, and well, I'll take it. Oh, let's get a minimap up too. I like to leave the minimap up as well. So I'm going to organize my UI a little bit. It's sort of interesting that, like, you build your UI however you want to build it. Here, I'll put the professions right above Yoda's head here. There we go. Dragon Slay Dude, thanks for the sub. Alright, so we've got this river running sort of through. It's kind of mountainous in the northeast. We got this large lake down here. There's not much you can do with a lake, but it's worth noting. Now, right from the beginning, all of these icons here are indicators that this citizen doesn't have a home. Yes, I see that. What we're going to want to do is to put them in homes, because without homes, they'll freeze, they won't have babies, they'll die. It will be sad. And then we have enough wood for a few homes. Now, one of the things I'm going to have to decide pretty early on is roughly what will the layout of my settlement be. So I'm going to put homes here, I think, which I do realize it is not close to everything else. But that's because I'm planning for the future. And then I'm going to run a dirt path between the homes and the storage barn. Hey, JD. Thanks for the resub as well. And Turtle Sandwich. Cheers. Well, I can't really say cheers and not see you all. Cheers. David, too. I'll leave Yoda on. All right. So if we go to the professions here, I'm going to assign 2 of my guys to be builders. And Glitch, thank you for the bits. And then what I'm going to do is go to my Harvest Trees tab. Pretty much all your tools are in the bottom right here. And I'm going to tell them to harvest these trees here. So the laborers, which I have 8 of, are going to harvest trees and haul resources to the wooden houses. And then the builders are going to start constructing these houses. And as you can see, all of these little citizens here have armfuls of material for the houses. So then, from a high level, what we're going to have to decide is how do we feed ourselves and how do we clothe ourselves? Those sort of simple tasks. Dennis, thanks for the bits. Miraculous, welcome to the stream. And Toxic Moxie, thanks for the resub. So here are some basic houses. The wooden houses cost mostly wood, stone. They're pretty easy to build. They aren't houses you're going to want to use later in the game. The reason being is the wood houses make it less efficient to heat the houses in winter. So you're going to want to not use them. Trust me on this. I'm going to turn down my volume just a scooch. I feel like I've turned it down a ton already. Let me know if it sounds right or not. All right, another thing I'm going to want to do is to start a crop field here. And I'm going to make 2 crop fields, both 8x8. I'm going to plant beans in both because that's the only seeds I have. I'm not going to invest in an orchard because an orchard is a long-term investment. JD, thanks for the bits as well. Yeah, this is an old school game. So as people gain houses here, as you can see, they partner off male, female, and children. It's really important if you want to grow your population for you to have enough housing for people to move out of their parents' place, is sort of the long and short of it. I'm also going to queue up collecting stone in this area. I'm going to leave the iron behind for now. I'm not that concerned about the iron. Hey, Angelia, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So, if we have 2 farms, it would serve me well to have 2 farmers. I'm actually going to rush this and to have 4 farmers just so that I can plant the crops quickly. But generally speaking, an 8x8 farm can be worked by 1 person. Now, from a high level, one of the most challenging things about Banished, and this is important to note, is unlike other games where you get people to serve a purpose, Banished, population is the challenge. I know this sounds a little strange, but growing your population too fast, you will be homeless, freezing cold, and starving. It's the greatest threat to your community, I would say, is growing your population too fast. So, if you don't want to starve and become homeless, don't build more houses than you need. It's honestly probably the most challenging part. What settings am I playing on? This is just a medium, everything medium across the board. I suppose I should have denoted that in the about command, but I failed to do so I apologize. There aren't bandits. There are natural disasters, but there aren't bandits, so there's nothing like that that can pose a threat to you. There is just weather and the lack of resources. So we have these laborers here cutting down trees. Or in this case, they're a child, so they're just watching people cut down trees. We are getting people with roofs over their head. And then once we got that done, the next important thing for me to plan is some basic food resources. So we have beans, but they're not going to be harvestable until fall. So what we're going to want to do is to build a woodcutter, and I'm just going to plop the woodcutter right here next to my storage barn. And what a woodcutter does, unlike most other games, they don't actually cut down trees. They cut wood into firewood. That's all they do. You're definitely going to want at least 1 woodcutter to start. Eventually you're going to want more, but one woodcutter is a good start. Angelia, thanks for the bits for the hype train. Woo! You guys kicking off that hype train. So let's talk about food. When we talk about food here, we have got crop fields, and I'm down here in the lower right. So crop fields, and you only start with seeds for one type of crop and one type of tree. So as you can see here, I have chestnut trees and bean seeds, which isn't a great start. The reason being is you can't really turn chestnuts or beans into booze, but I'll get into that later. Then you, of course, have pastures, but there's no point in me making a pasture right now because, well, I don't have any animals to put into a pasture. I don't have chickens, I don't have cows, I don't have sheep, so that doesn't really matter. There is fishing. Fishing is an interesting one. Fishing, from what I've read, is useful because it takes up space that otherwise really couldn't be taken up by anything else, right? Because you can't really build much on the water. But the problem with fishing is it's a very inefficient way to feed your population. So as tempting as it is to put a ton of your people into fishing roles, it's a real poor use of their time and energy, because a huge part of this game is micromanaging your population's productivity. So if you are going to dump a ton of people into fishing to try to feed yourself, sure, it's renewable or whatever. It's not an effective way to feed yourself. It really isn't. All right, so at this point, I am moving some pop around to have 3 farmers. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. So these 8x8s, I'm having just one person working them, and the orchard, I'm having one person working them, which is approximately what you want. I also pinned this woodcutter so that I can keep an eye on it, because once it finishes, I'm going to want to employ someone in there. Yeah, the UI looks very small, and I'm not really sure I can... let's see, user interface scale. Let me try to scale it up. Oh god, it just shrunk. Okay, wrong direction. That seems... Okay, that's a little better, I think. Let me know if you want it even larger. Or let me just make it larger, because I don't feel like that's that much better. There we go. Now you might be able to read some things. Of course, as this will be uploaded to YouTube, on YouTube it will be 1440p, which is a lot more real estate on the screen than 1080. So now we have this woodcutter. The other thing I want to do is to set up a hunting cabin. So I'm going to set a hunting cabin here. Right there. And then I'm also going to want to set up... So here's an important thing to note. Gatherers like to gather from old trees, not young trees. So where you set up your gatherer, you're going to... And this is also true of herbs too. Herbalist. Where you... I believe it's true for herbalist. I could be wrong about that. But essentially where you set up your gatherer and your herbalist... you should not be commonly cutting down the trees. The trees should be older trees, not young trees, or you'll hit inefficiency problems. And then, where were these structures? Let's pin these. So there's the hunting cabin. So the hunting cabin will feed us, but it will also produce leather that we can make into clothing later. Now we do start off with some stored clothing and stored tools, which will carry us for a while. But eventually we're going to want, we're going to want to clothe ourselves. And I'm just going to build a dirt road. Dirt roads don't take material, so I'm going to build a dirt road between these 2 cabins down here and or these two, woodcutter, not a woodcutter, a gatherer and hunter, and the rest of the micro colony. That's a pretty strong start. Will I do more project example? Yeah, my schedule is at Rhadamant.com if you're wondering. All right, the reserve of firewood is low. So let's go ahead and go to the tools and reports here and increase the priority for this building, which is the woodcutter. And I'm going to move one of my laborers into a building role so that we have more builders. As you can see, there's still 2 homeless people left. So let's build one more house. I thought 4 would be enough, but that would be a miscalculation. And then we're also going to want to put this as a higher priority as well, right? I don't want anyone to be homeless. Homelessness is a really quick way for people to get sick and to die. And a huge part of this game is about managing and tending to the demands of your people. So sick and dying is really not a good way to last very long in this game. I will be speeding up time pretty soon here. And then I will be opening up user submissions so that you can suggest things for me to work on and to do soon. There are seasons, yes. So right now we are in late spring, year 1. The season UI is right here. And then you've got temperature here. So 70 is, ideal room temperature for those of you that use Celsius. And the health and happiness. Unlike a lot of games like this, there is no research at all. Everything that you can build, you're able to build right from the start. So I could go through all the buildings right now. We've got a wooden house, stone house, and a boarding house. A boarding house is a temporary living place that is really not good for your population growth, but there you have it. We've got dirt roads, stone roads, wooden bridges, and tunnels. Bridges go over rivers, and tunnels go through mountains. We have got storage barns, which stores organics and tools and things like that. And then stockpiles, which store bulk, resources. And a market. What a market does is it supplies a certain geographic area with things that homes will need. So instead of the individual house having to go to a storage barn, you can employ someone to stock a market with all the things that the inhabitants of your houses, your citizens, will want. And then trading posts. Trading posts work by... Let's see if I can't find a spot for one. Come on. Trading posts like this allow you to trade with river boats. All right, we've got wells, which help put out fires when you have fires in your community. Schoolhouses, which is paramount for having a educated population. And I'll be building one of those. Actually, let's queue that up now. I'll put this over here. Hospitals to fight diseases. We've got a town hall, which allows you to basically do a census of your community. A chapel for religion, and a graveyard or cemetery for the dead. I went over the food here, but I'll do it again. We have crop fields, orchards, pastures, fishing docks, hunting cabins, and gatherers' huts. Gatherers' huts will collect wild resources like, onions or potatoes, things like that you can find in the woods. A woodcutter, which cuts logs into firewood. A forester's lodge, which can cut down trees, plant trees, or both. You got an herbalist, which collects herbs for medicine. A blacksmith makes tools, steel, and iron alike. A tailor, making 3 different types of clothing. a brewer, which brews things that are fermentable into beer, ales, etc. A mine, which you extract resources out of mountains. Let's see if I can't find a place to put this mine. The mines and quarries can be annoying to place, so they're kind of important for you to establish where they're going to live. So I queued up a mine to be placed there, but I'm going to pause it. I just gave Tusk a holler, so hopefully she'll be joining me in a second. And then quarries. Quarries are for stone, where mines are for metal. Come here, puppy. And then the last tab is to remove buildings, to remove resources, like if you just want to delete them, to harvest trees, to harvest stone, to harvest, not delete them, to harvest anything that's in the area. Remove iron or collect iron, remove roads, or cancel a removal. Yep. So that's the very basic subset of tools. Looks like my woodcutter is just about done. And the wooden house also just about done. How do you earn the other points? You just watch. Every now and then you'll be prompted to click a button if you want to make more points. Oh yeah, Yoda points, or channel points as they're known. Pretty simple. Being a subscriber, you do gain more points more quickly, but you can gain points without that. Alright, if you have any goals for me in mind, let me know. I just opened up the channel point redemption, and I'm happy to poll you all if you have suggestions. If you don't have suggestions, I will just build as I see fit. So right now what I'm going to do is bring it up to 2 speed. A child named Delis was born. So if you take a look here, Delis was born into this household with 2 parents, right? Norman and Jalen, 2 parents. Eventually, when kids get old enough, they're going to want houses of their own. Okay, so my woodcutter is currently being built. I don't have any stored firewood, so it's going to be important for me to get firewood quickly. So let's get a woodcutter in there. And my next priority here, I'm going to set is the schoolhouse. So the woodcutter I'm going to unpin because we have built it and we've employed someone in it. So I don't need to necessarily stare at that anymore. Now I've told my builders to prioritize the schoolhouse. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pause that and have the builders prioritize hunting and gathering, as I think food is likely to be my next large bottleneck. So here's a home that is cold. It's funny because it's 80 degrees or 79 degrees Fahrenheit out, but they this indicator here means that they don't have wood or firewood to burn. As a result of my woodcutter not, currently producing wood, I suppose. Who is my woodcutter? You are? So here's the woodcutter. Rutheron. You sound like a CPU chip manufacturer or something. So here are the crop fields being harvested. If you click this button here, it will show you this current season. We're yielding like 448 beans. The orchard here is not going to yield anything for a while, right? Fruit trees don't immediately yield on year one, so that's just going to take some time. Karanda was born. Karanda, where are you? You're in this house. All right, we've got some things for me to pull you all. I'm just typing them all out, and then we'll have you pulled. All right, there you go. So we have number 1, set up a blacksmith. 2, set up a trader. 3, set up a graveyard. 4, grow to a population of 100. Or 5, set up an herbalist. You feel relaxed, Orton? I'm the Bob Ross of Twitch. Cheers. It's all the beautiful puppies. That's what it is. Hey, buddy. So let's see how the building is going. The gatherer's hut and the hunting cabin are coming along. The path that I built for people to commute to this work is coming along as well. Another thing I'm going to want to do here is the stone that's in these zones. I'm going to want to collect, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a forester to plant trees here eventually, so that this becomes a well-forested area, so that the yields of the gatherer and the hunters go up, or the gatherer, not really a hunting yield. And then let's also grab the metal that's here, the iron. Nothing like surface ferrite. Giraffe, thanks for gifting out a sub. And I'll happily pet Mr. Yoda. Oh, yeah. He loves it. So does Tusk. Ah, Leonardo got born as well. There's Leonardo. I often feel like if I was playing for myself, just by myself, I'd play at like 5 or 10 speed. But I feel like I might, in my inexperience, miss something critical if I play at such high speeds. And I'd preferably not want to save scum, so I'm gonna play slow. Let me move my mini-map up here. I feel like most games have a top right. Oh, that's actually right underneath the leaderboard. Tilt shift a little bit. So this hunting cabin needs 2 more stone, and then they'll build it. I'm gonna set more people up to be builders over laborers, trying to get these going. I gave all the puppies a bath recently, and Tusk's fur is just very untamed and wild right now. The floating dock? Yes. Oh, it looks like all the materials for the hunting cabin are now down. As you can see, the foundation has been initiated. That will be good. We are in early autumn, so let's see how these yielded. 448 and 448. Perfect. That's like more or less max yield in a season. And now what's happening, if you're wondering about those farmers, they are working as laborers. So see how it says job farmer? And yet they're obviously gathering materials. That's because there's, in real life, much like in real life, there's really no point in planting anything in late autumn unless it's a late autumn crop, which it is not. So when people don't have work to do, they will really quickly find other tasks. It's actually one of the challenges of the game. If you have need of prioritizing something, often the game will kind of ignore you. But I don't run into that too often. Alright, come on, hunting cabin. So this whole area I'm going to have is sort of like pseudo-protected wilderness. The orchard needs to be one wider for another road to be built. Ah, yeah, you're right. I guess 9x9 is more ideal for an orchard than an 8x8. And perhaps my next one, when food is not scarce, I'll set them up more efficiently. All right, come on, hunter cabin. Get building. Get building. My builders are obviously working on something else. What are my builders doing? In fact, I'm going to employ more builders. Oh, no, they're building. I think it's just the distance. And the reason I put it so far away is so that it can be sort of pristine woods and not encroached or built upon. All right, the blacksmith is what I'm going to first work on. Set up a blacksmith. Sounds good. Can I build houses right outside of the area so that it's less walking? I could. One of the things to consider, however, is eventually you're going to want to supply houses with a market. So it's best if you have houses within the market's radius. Otherwise, they might have a hard time supplying their own resources, food and clothing, tools, and firewood. So I could build a market here, or I could build a market here. So let me set up both markets and have you all vote on the location preference. So this market here, the market in this location would allow me to build houses right on the border of these pristine woods to shorten commute time. This market would utilize more housing area so that I could serve far more houses efficiently, effectively having a larger population. So, which market location? It's either the west location or the, let's call this south. I know it's not really south, but south location. So, go ahead and vote. Actually, that pull that up a little. Nothing like rebuilding your UI while you stream, right? So it's telling me my reserve of food is low. And, well, yeah, it is. Because we're still waiting on the gatherers and the hunting. But they're just about built. They're seconds away from being done, so. Maybe I'll put this here. I don't know, I can't decide. It's a lot of UI elements. All right, the gatherers is 95% complete. Almost there. You can't eat metal last time you checked? True. I'll be setting up a blacksmith, you know, as a priority, keeping in mind food is the true priority. So right now we definitely have a food shortage, but we're about, oh, here we go. So here's the gatherer's hut, and I am going to put 3 people into it. And then move 2 of the builders to labor positions. And these builders are about to finish out this hunting cabin, and then the builders are going to become hunters. You looked away? So west would be here, giving me this flat plain open area to build housing. And south would be here, allowing me to shorten the commute to working areas. So now we have both a gatherer's hut with 3 people in it and a hunting cabin with 2 people in it and working. So I do have a food shortage right now, but we are obviously working to correct that. The next thing I'm going to do is to unpause the schoolhouse. Even though I know that my priority is to get a blacksmith, it's really important, in my opinion, to get a schoolhouse early. Very, very, very important. And if you're wondering the reason why is because an educated workforce works more efficiently. And if let's say you're a child right now and you don't go to school, you're essentially going to be uneducated for the rest of your life. So that's not ideal. Looks like we're going to be going with the west location. So I'm going to remove the market from the south spot. I'm going to keep this paused as I don't really need to build the market just yet. And I might even move it around a little bit. But that is where we'll set it up once we build it. Right there. Alright, so here the gatherer's hut is collecting mushrooms, onions, and berries. And the hunting cabin is hunting nothing. Good job, hunters. For being as disappointing as I hope you weren't going to be. But that's okay. A little bit of stored food is good, and the average health of my citizens will go back up as a result. Early winter, storage for log, stone, and iron is near capacity. It's not that close, but it will be increasing. So another thing that I have to think about is where I want a forester. So this little red icon down here is indicator of when things are low. So it's telling me that I'm low on logs, which is because I've been cutting down trees for firewood. So I'm going to queue up all these trees in this location to be cut down. right, we have all the materials for the schoolhouse, so we're going to get that built in just a moment. And we are in midwinter. All right, hunters. Yeah, there we go. Now the hunters are starting to get leather and venison for food. I wonder if I can get Echo to lay on the couch. Let me try. All right, I gave her a holler. Oh yeah, here she comes. Echo, hop up on the couch. Float, dog, float. Chile. Good girl. Just stay there. Just be bunny. No, she's already poised to leave here. Hey, pupper. Yeehaw. Okay. Oh, you're staying. Such a delight. Of course, I'm blocking her. Can't really see her. Oh, she just left. Bye, girl. Rest in peace. Thanks for the sub. All right, we're in late winter. We survived the first winter. We have a small surplus of food, almost no logs. Are there seasons? Yes, there are. We are currently in late winter, so maybe March, February, some season like that. And as soon as it's early spring, we'll start planting again. So if we take a look at what the farmers are doing, I think they are, yeah, they're gathering stone over here. One of the things I might want to do at this point is cancel any of the collection from this area. I over selected, and as a result, it's giving way to my lack of lumber, so I'm going to change it around. Can rivers flood? No, they are static. We have a micro river running. What is this run? It's mountain runoff, I guess. And then you're always going to have one river that cuts all the way through your territory so that you can get trades. All right, schoolhouse is almost done. And then I'll set up that blacksmith. How are my hunters faring? Gatherers getting some good stuff. The hunters seem to be failing, considering I'm staring at deer here. These guys are just not as capable as they should be, and it is telling me that my food is low. But again, I'm not worried. The last time you played, that single uneducated adult became the school teacher. Nothing like the blind leading the blind, right? That's hilarious. So, giving this a little bit of thought, one of the questions I'm going to have is, where should I source my lumber? So I do have this area here. I could, let me give you some options and have you all vote on them. So for forestry, I could have forestry work in this location, which I will call south, work in this location, I'll call east. Work in this location, which I will call north. Or work in this location, which I will call west. So, where is this? Of course, some of these locations will require bridges. God, where did I put this? There it is. I should have pinned it and paused it. All right, there we go. There's the pole. Somewhere around here. Come on, Forrest. Where are you? Here, I'll just cancel it. There it is. So we want to nudge this so it doesn't overlap with these buildings. So we're not cutting any old trees. All right, and nearly done. Come on, builders. Build that schoolhouse. Almost built. Okay, my hunters seem to be doing a good job. My gatherers are already well ahead of last season, which is great. Only one builder for the schoolhouse? Yes. I see that. Trying to get the schoolhouse up themselves. Who are you? 24-year-old. Name Rhadamant. Keep going, Rhadamant. There it is, warning me that my lumber is low. Right, buddy? Currently, what are my laborers working on? They are hauling things. Oh no, they are doing some resource gathering right here. So I'm going to cancel that. To have them cut trees down closer to home. I'm also going to set up another stockpile because our original one is getting a little large. Eventually, I'll put the stockpiles in sort of nicer, more neutral locations. But for now, they're okay. Okay, 97%. Come on. Just finish. Rhadamant, what are you doing? Where are you? Where'd you go? I know you're not perfectly healthy, but get on back there and finish that up. 98. 99. And one more. Ta-da! All right, there is the school. We do have, what, 7 children in the colony right now? So some of those will start to become educated. Some other things I'd like to do is an herbalist down here. and a forester down here. This forester is not for accumulating wood. It's just to plant trees around this spot. And the herbalist is for our health because we don't have any stored medicine whatsoever. This woodcutter this symbol means that they're full. So I'm going to increase the amount of firewood that I make up to 500. And then taking a look, we're going to have to do a tiebreaker here between north and west. So west is this location, and north is this location. East, this east forest lodge did not pass muster, and this south forest lodge did not pass muster. So we do have some, we'll call them adults, that are going to want housing of their own. And I am going to want to start to set up stone housing opposed to wood housing. Because stone housing will benefit from heating, whereas wood housing will not. It is easier to keep a stone house warm. So there's a stone house. It'll be the first one we build. And as you can see, the resources it requires, let me set up a wood one for comparison. 16 logs, 8 stone. 24 logs, 40 stone. The stone housing is considerably more expensive. But it will save you wood. It will save you resources in the long time. So, in the long run. So it does have that benefit. There we go. Finally, one contiguous path. That is a lovely little path. I wish that was my... Well, no, I'm glad I don't have a commute to work. But it is a lovely commute to work. You can upgrade your wood houses, yes. You can upgrade them to stone houses. But at a higher cost than just building a stone house to begin with. So, it will also... I think it will displace people that are in it. Alright, looks pretty clearly like Northern Lumber's gonna be where it's at. So, Mr. West Lumber, bye-bye. That also means that I am going to need a bridge. So, let's set one up. Let's say I have a... Oh, yeah, look at that. There we go. So now I need to build a wooden bridge, which will cost a lot of logs, and then this this dirt path that leads there. But we can also take advantage of this path to put a trader nearby as well. Yeah, it just does displace people, so do it in the summer so that people don't care. Hot tip right there. And let's make this house the priority that we're working on for our constructors, our builders, or builder. We only have the one, meaning that the forester and the herbalist low priority. And in fact, this forester I'm just going to pause because it is that low of a priority. So our gatherers are gathering a good amount. Our hunters are hunting a good amount. We are going to have a wider variety of food, hopefully stockpiled. So this forester is up there, yeah. You miss your commute? Not walking is making you fat? Well, just start walking in the day, right? No, I didn't mean to do that. I like how the game's like, no, there's nothing to harvest. We still have not had any yields from the orchard here. Storage for logs, stone, and iron near capacity. No, it isn't. I have a empty stockpile right next to it. But that is a lot of cut stone. Well, Toax, thanks for the sub. Had a prime land around? Well, I appreciate it. Cheers. Alright, I am going to speed up to 5x speed now. So we have 2 students being taught in the schoolhouse. It's not much, but it's a start. I'm curious if I might be able to reduce my gatherers. We'll see what kind of yield that they have this year. And have them as a builder instead. Another thing I could do is to figure out if I have any children that are about to get old enough to become workers. Adding to my workforce. Everything is unmodded, completely unmodded, and will remain that way. All right, I am going to reduce the gatherers so that we can employ another builder, or actually another laborer. I think our laborers are the ones that are chiefly cutting down trees. And we are definitely going to get a whole lot of wood coming up this fall. When the farms are fully harvested, the farmers and the person working the orchard will then start cutting down trees. So, progress will be had. Unfortunately, all of the wood that we're producing is immediately getting cut into firewood. We're near our firewood max. Right now I have my fuel limit of 500 and I'm at 428. So we're getting close to that maximum, but not quite there yet. You can hear all the trees being felled. Indicator that people are getting work done. All right, beans. Oh, I don't think this season will yield like last season did. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on that. That would be disappointing. I know I still haven't done anything blacksmith-wise. That's mostly just because I've been trying to tend to my resource shortages, and I do have 15 tools lying around, so it will become a shortage soon, but it's not a shortage yet. The tools and clothing, I have 11 spare clothing, 15 spare tools, so we're not bottlenecked just yet. We do have some spare. But now is about trying to get our stored logs up, because we're going to need 72 logs to build this bridge. And that's probably the biggest. Ooh, late autumn already snowing. Nope, 448, and yep, this left field was less productive, as you can see, than the years previous. This game does not have crop rotation requirements, as far as I know. It does have disease, though, yeah. You can have blights. And natural disasters is on, so that's a possibility of something that might happen to me. So the current season here for the hunters is quadruple that of last season. Looking pretty good. And then the gatherer's hut, it's kind of unfair because it was in the process of being built, but of course it is up a lot as well. We're close to our max firewood, which will have our woodcutter then work as a laborer. And this little peninsula is getting stripped of trees by all of the out-of-season farmers. That's basically who's doing the work. Thank you for watching Banished, which originally aired live on Twitch. This series is a result of a poll I put out every Monday, where my viewers get to decide what I play. So far, there's only been one stream of Banished, and therefore only 5 episodes. If I continue this series, it will be a result of it winning again in the polls. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell.